In the days when the Persian Empire stretched from India to Ethiopia, there ruled a king whose word was law, and whose palace stood as a monument to power, wealth, and pride. His name was Ahasuerus. For many months, the king displayed the greatness of his kingdom through feasts and celebrations, revealing the splendor of his riches to all who came before him. Wine flowed freely, music echoed through marble halls, and Persia appeared unshakable. Yet even the mightiest throne can be undone by pride. During one such feast, the king commanded that Queen Vashti be brought before him, so that all might gaze upon her beauty. But the queen refused. Her decision shook the palace, for in Persia, refusal to the king was unthinkable. Enraged and humiliated before his nobles, Ahasuerus decreed that Vashti would no longer be queen. And just like that, a crown was taken and a throne was left empty. Soon, a search began across the empire for a woman worthy to sit upon the royal throne. Among those brought to the palace was a young Jewish orphan named Esther, raised by her cousin Mordecai. She was gentle in spirit, quiet in strength, and her beauty was matched only by her humility. Before she entered the palace, Mordecai gave her one instruction. She must not reveal her people or her heritage. And when Esther was brought before the king, she found favor beyond all others. The crown was placed upon her head, and Esther became queen of Persia. Yet even as she rose, danger was already taking shape. At the same time, a man named Haman was elevated above all the officials of the kingdom. He loved honor, but he demanded obedience, and all were required to bow before him. All except Mordecai. When Haman learned that Mordecai was a Jew and would bow to no man, his anger burned beyond reason. But Haman did not seek revenge against one man alone. His pride demanded more. He resolved to destroy an entire people. Haman cast lots to choose the day of destruction, and then approached the king with deceitful words. He spoke of a people scattered across the empire, whose laws were different and whose existence, he claimed, threatened the peace of the kingdom. Without investigation, the king handed Haman his royal signet ring. With it, a decree was sealed, a law commanding the destruction of every Jew, young and old, women and children, on a single appointed day. As messengers carried the decree throughout the land, confusion and terror filled the streets. And in the city of Susa, Mordecai tore his garments and cried out in grief. When Esther learned of the decree, her heart was shaken. She lived in the palace, protected by walls of power and luxury, yet she could not escape the fate of her people. Mordecai sent her a message that would define her destiny. Do not think that because you are in the king's palace, you alone will escape. If you remain silent, deliverance will arise from another place, but you will perish. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Faced with death on one side and courage on the other, Esther chose faith. She called for a fast among all the Jews, and Susan prepared to approach the king, knowing that to do so uninvited could cost her life. On the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace. The king saw her. Time seemed to pause, and then the golden scepter was extended. Esther lived, invited to speak. She asked the king and Haman to attend a banquet she had prepared. Then another. All the while, Haman's pride swelled, until it was pierced by humiliation. For that same night, the king could not sleep. As the royal records were read aloud, the king discovered that Mordecai had once saved his life and had never been rewarded. By morning, Haman was ordered to honor the very man he hated, leading Mordecai through the city in royal garments. What Haman had built for another was already turning against him. At the second banquet, the king asked Esther once more to make her request known. With courage born of faith, she revealed the truth. She was a Jew. Her people had been condemned, and the man responsible stood beside the king. Haman's fate was sealed. He was executed on the gallows she had prepared for Mordecai. Though the original decree could not be revoked, a new law was written, granting the Jews the right to defend themselves. And when the appointed day arrived, it became not a day of destruction, but of victory. Fear turned into joy. Mourning became celebration. The festival of Purim was established to remember how destruction was overturned by courage and faith. The story of Esther never speaks the name of God, yet his presence is seen on every page. In timing, in courage, in reversal, Esther entered the palace as an orphan and emerged as a deliverer. And her story still speaks today. That faith, when paired with courage, can change the destiny of many. If this story encouraged you, then don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to help spread God's word through storytelling. What Bible story do you want us to talk about next?